Okay, so I'm on a bit of a roll here. We'll keep going with the videos, eh? Why not? Got nothing else better to do. Right, so what was the purpose of this video? We just did one on No, we didn't do that yet. Okay, so this one's going to be about forgiveness. 'Cause I talked about before about just trying to snuff your own flame, right? But how do you do that? Okay, so, well, for me, it's quite easy because I've got a relationship with God and in Jesus. But one of the downloads I received, okay, look, I'm not the best either in terms of like knowing the gospel, okay, fully. Like I read the Bible. I could always be better in my relationship with God for sure, and so and that's a good place to be, I suppose, too, in terms of knowing, right? But one of the things though that came to me as a download from Spirit is that forgiveness, right? It's kind of a weird thing, and I've talked to ChatGPT about it too a little bit because I'm getting kind of hung up on that a little bit based on my experiences too in life in terms of forgiveness. Like, I think there's a difference between letting go of what no longer serves you or your higher self and forgiveness. And I think traditionally forgiveness was more aligned with something that you could do on your own and letting go. Like it kind of used to mean the same thing, but based on my personal experience, and I haven't checked recently what forgiveness is in the Oxford Dictionary, but based on my own personal experience in terms of what forgiveness means, forgiveness has shifted in meaning to reconciliation. And based on my experience with forgiveness in terms of my previous relationships with my children, etc., forgiveness has kind of been like a bartering, a bargain, an agreement. And I don't think the intention when forgiveness was used in the gospel, I don't think that was the intention of forgiveness. Because what you're doing then with this new age modification of the term forgiveness, deviating from what it initially was intended to do in the gospel, is you're predicating your ability to let go of things like revenge and what no longer serves your highest good on the agreement from another individual, and that just seems completely absurd. So it's just something I wanted to bring to everybody's attention, because part of my ability to get on with life and heal was not really so much in terms of adopting this new forgiveness definition that's kind of like come into fruition with time, but it was instead fully embracing of letting go. And part of letting go too is knowing that, God will handle what I can't do, right? Like, and the other thought that came across my mind, a download from Spirit, was that by me being a person like who says that I can forgive, like surely there's a lot of people right now, perhaps, I don't know, that have done me wrong, okay, or done wrong to others, but who may not even have a relationship with God, and then when they do wrong and they want to reconcile, right? Like how often do they go to the person that they wronged and ask for that forgiveness, right? And then that person or individual gives that forgiveness. Well, there's a few problems with that, because on my own experience, I'll tell you that the times where I've given that forgiveness, I've hastily given that, or I've given it, but the wound is still there. It's still fresh. It doesn't go away. It gets better with time, perhaps, but how many times is it that I've said, oh, okay, I forgive you, but ultimately the wound is still there. there is no like reconciliation with that. The pain is there, it's done. You can't escape it. So really the only thing you can do is let go of it, right? And I guess what I'm trying to get towards is that ultimately, like, it's for God to forgive, not for me to forgive. For me as a person, my job is to let go. If you want forgiveness because you've done wrong to somebody else or towards me, don't come to me for forgiveness. Go to God for forgiveness. And, it makes me think too, like how many people are without a relationship being developed with the divine because they went to the wrong source for forgiveness, right? Food for thought, I suppose, right? By me forgiving, am I impeding a relationship potentially from another individual developing a relationship with the divine, with God, with Jesus? It's food for thought, right? So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe forgiveness was lost in translation from the Bible, or perhaps what it is that forgiveness has been modified over time. But basically, I suppose what I'm trying to also impart is that I don't want to be responsible for potentially getting in the way of a relationship with God. Okay. So yeah, I guess what I'm saying is I'm going to choose to let go rather than to forgive at this stage. I'm just going to let go of what no longer serves me. And if you want forgiveness, go to God for forgiveness. Because ultimately, I'll tell you this, right? Because based on my experience with forgiveness, right? Forgiveness, when you go and you search for forgiveness, ultimately what you're searching for is peace. And I'll tell you, you can't get peace anywhere else but the divine, but God, but Jesus. And you don't know that yet. You don't know, if you don't have that relationship yet, you don't know the piece you're missing. So, yeah, I've said what I've said. Talk to you later.